When I went to Machu Picchu in 2017, what's very interesting is I saw evidence of ancient structures underneath what's there now.
For 500 years, people have looked at Machu Picchu the same way, from above, from the terraces, from the postcard angle framed by Wana Picchu. We see stone walls rising from a mountain ridge and assume the mountain is the foundation, solid, ancient, unmoving. But when scientists began drilling and excavating beneath the visible plazas, they discovered something that completely changes the geometry of the site. Machu Picchu is not resting on a mountain. It is threaded through it, and it goes deeper than almost anyone imagined. The assumption that broke first. For decades, the working assumption was simple. The Inca found a stable granite ridge and built on top of it. Granite is strong. The Andes are old. Case closed. But when engineers began conducting subsurface stabilization studies beneath Machu Picchu, the drill cores didn't tell a story of uniform bedrock. They told a story of layers, engineered layers. In several sections, excavation revealed nearly 3 meters of constructed substructure beneath what appears to be flat ground. Not random rubble, not collapse debris, deliberate gradients of stone size. Large fragments at the bottom, gravel above, sand and soil above that. And then the visible surface. That alone is impressive, but it's not the disturbing part. The disturbing part is how those layers align with what's above them. The mirror beneath the city. When archaeologists and engineers mapped the terraces above ground and compared them to the subsurface structure below, they noticed something unsettling. The underground layers mirror the visible city. Every terrace above corresponds to stabilization below. Every retaining wall is supported by layered reinforcement extending downward. The city isn't a surface construction, it's a vertical interlock, like the visible half of something much larger embedded in the ridge. If you removed the mountain around Machu Picchu and left only what the Inca engineered, you would not see a shallow foundation. You would see depth. You would see a structural column descending into fractured rock. The fracture network no one talks about. Geologists studying the site have documented intersecting fracture systems running through the ridge, natural cracks in the granite formed by tectonic stress. They don't appear dramatic from above, but underground they form corridors, weakness lines, water channels, pressure pathways. And here's the unsettling alignment. Major walls and drainage corridors follow these fracture lines, not roughly, precisely. It's as if the builders identified the mountain's internal skeleton and then stitched their architecture into it, not resisting the fractures, using them. Which raises a question no one can fully answer. How did they map something invisible? The vertical axis. At the summit of the citadel stands the Intihuatana stone, often described as ceremonial, solar, astronomical, but structurally, it sits near the convergence of fracture zones beneath the main temple complex. If you trace those intersecting geological lines downward, they form a vertical axis through the ridge. The Inca didn't just place their sacred stone at the highest visible point, they anchored it at the highest structural convergence, which means the city's symbolic center is also its geological center. That's not decorative placement, that's integration. The depth problem. The deeper researchers examined the substructure, the clearer it became. The strength of Machu Picchu doesn't come from solid bedrock, it comes from distribution. The terraces function as counterweights. The drainage channels relieve hydrostatic pressure. The layered fills absorb saturation. The mountain is fractured. Water wants to move through it. Gravity wants to pull it downward. The Inca engineered the site to redirect those forces, which means Machu Picchu is not static, it's dynamic. It's managing stress continuously, and that management runs vertically. What the drilling revealed about stability. Modern geotechnical assessments show that the ridge is steep, heavily fractured, and exposed to intense seasonal rainfall. Under those conditions, saturation equals landslide risk, but the layered substructure allows water to pass through rapidly. Instead of pooling, instead of building pressure, the system diffuses force. But diffusion requires open pathways, void space, engineered permeability. which means beneath the stone plazas tourists walk on, there are controlled gaps, hidden flow routes, stress release chambers. It's not hollow in a dramatic way, but it is not solid in the way people imagine. And that changes how you see the entire site. The hidden geometry. When engineers mapped the underground drainage networks, they discovered over 100 discrete outlet points across the site, each designed to bleed water before pressure accumulates. Water enters at the summit, moves downward through layers, exits at lower terraces. The city is essentially a vertical filtration column, and that column follows the natural fracture system of the ridge, almost as if the Inca reverse-engineered the mountain. Instead of carving it into submission, they learned its internal logic and amplified it. That level of integration suggests generational knowledge, not accidental placement. The balancing act. Here's where it becomes unsettling. If Machu Picchu's strength comes from distribution rather than mass, then its stability depends on balance, not brute force. Balance. Balance between water and stone, between fracture and reinforcement, between gravity and counterweight. When you build on fractured granite, you don't eliminate movement, you manage it. And management implies vulnerability, because if one layer fails, pressure redistributes. If pressure redistributes unevenly, stress accumulates, and stress seeks release. The unseen half. Roughly half of Machu Picchu's engineering effort exists below what visitors see. That means the postcard image represents only the upper expression of the system. The real complexity lies underneath. The mountain is not a pedestal, it's a partner, and the city is interlocked with it, which means you cannot separate Machu Picchu from the ridge without destabilizing both. They are fused structurally, hydrologically, geologically. Why this is disturbing? For centuries, Machu Picchu has been admired as architecture, but drilling revealed it's closer to structural surgery. A city woven into tectonic lines, a platform anchored into fracture corridors, a settlement designed not just to stand on a mountain, but to hold it together. And when you understand that, the perspective shifts. You stop seeing ruins, you start seeing tension, because anything that depends on precise balance can be thrown off, not by catastrophe, but by accumulation, pressure, change, load. The system was designed for a specific scale of use, a specific hydrological pattern, a specific mountain, and it has survived because those conditions remained within range. The vertical reality. Machu Picchu is often described as lost, but it was never lost to gravity. It was engineered against it, and the drilling made one thing clear. The city's most important features are invisible. They are below, running down through the ridge like roots, anchoring stone to fracture, guiding water through weakness, redistributing stress. The visible temples are the crown, the hidden layers are the skeleton. The final question. When scientists drilled beneath Machu Picchu, they didn't find secret chambers, they found depth. They found alignment. They found a vertical architecture interlocked with tectonic geometry. They found a city that exists in 3 dimensions, not 2. And that realization is more unsettling than any myth, because it means Machu Picchu isn't just standing, it's balancing forces that never stopped acting. Water still falls, the earth still shifts, the fractures are still there, and the hidden half of the city is still doing the work no one sees. The question isn't what lies buried below. The question is how long a 500-year-old vertical stabilization system can continue managing a living mountain. Because when balance fails in the Andes, stone doesn't crack politely, it moves. And mountains don't negotiate.